Hello all, welcome back to online SAP ABAP training, and in this session we are going to see how to work practically with SAP GUI and developing little bit of program. So this is SAP login pad where you can see different servers are available in your office. If you have a development, quality and production, all the servers you can see over here, and select the development server for example, then click on log on. So when you are logging into SAP, there is something called client over here, and there is something called username. So each one of you, after joining in a company, you will get your own user ID. I have some user ID here. And as I told you, SAP supports so many languages, more than 24 languages it supports. Right now I'm logging in English language. So these four fields are mandatory when you are logging. Logon language is optional. If you can give or not give, it will go to the default language which is set in your user profile. So now I have logged in. So this is your SAP initial screen, wherein on the top you have some menu buttons. Okay, so yes, and these are all menu items and menu sub items. Sometimes sub items will have further sub items. You have something here called command prompt. So whatever you are looking here, this is a command prompt wherein you can give some set of transactions. In SAP, anything if you want to do, you will give a transaction. For example, I want to create a program. I'll give SE38 here a press enter. So now I went to ABAP editor. You can see the description over here. So now I'm in ABAP editor. I'm ready to create a program. Similarly, I want to see a data dictionary. I'll go to S11. I'm ready to see the tables or data which is available in SAP. Okay, but this is SAP initial screen, starting screen. This is a command prompt where you will give a transaction, and this is called standard application toolbar, whatever you are looking here. This is the description bar. Based on the transaction, the description over here will changes. This is a custom application toolbar in which some buttons are there, and tomorrow if you want, you can put your own buttons here in the custom application toolbar. But standard application toolbar, you cannot put any buttons. Tomorrow, if you want to put some buttons additional here, it's not possible. It's a standard toolbar. Custom toolbar, it is possible to have some buttons. Now all this area, whatever you are looking, this is called a work area, or this is called as a working area where you will do your business related work, or you develop some programs, or you create some tables or whatever, where you do the work. On the bottom line, there is something called, this is a status bar, which shows the messages if you are doing right or wrong. For example, I'll give some message, or I will enter some wrong transaction here. So in the bottom you can see there is a message. It says this transaction Narendra or something is not available. So this particular status bar is trying to guide me or trying to help me to make things in a correct way. Okay, then this is how this is how your first screen in SAP looks like. And in SAP, everything is everything will be done in the form of transactions. Remember. So by end of today, I'm going to send you some frequently used transactions. As a ABAP consultant, what are all the transactions we are going to use? For just now, I'm saying SE38 is a transaction to create a program, right? And 11 is for data dictionary. Maybe after this class, by end of today, I will send you some list of the frequently used transactions. But don't mug up. No need to remember or no need to mug up these transactions, because it's our daily activity. daily we are handling 1 or 2 transactions. So after the end of the course, you will automatically remember all these transactions. No need to, remember all those transactions. So today our main agenda is to create some small programs, and we will learn how to create our own program and some keywords. Any programming language will have keywords. Any programming language will have some syntaxes. So we are going to step into that particular area now. So we are going to create a first program in SAP. So how to create? Go to SE38 on the command prompt, enter the transaction SE38, press enter. So now here you have to enter a program name. Your program name should start with Z or Y, either Z or Y, your program name. I already told you SAP is a package. SAP has also provided so many programs which are already available in the same system. So SAP programs may start with A, B or whatever, but whatever the programs you create, that should be always either Z or Y. Either tomorrow when you join a company also, it is the same naming convention. Now, one more important point is your program name should have no spaces. For example, if I create something like this, Z Naren space test, something like that, if I give, and when I try to create this kind of program, this is my program name, whatever I am giving here, this is the program name. So I'll give some program name here and I'll try to create the program. In fact, it is giving, if you see here, Naren test, it has removed the space between Naren and test. So don't give any spaces in your program name. Don't give any special symbols. For example, some dollar I'll try to create. So it says do not use any special characters except underscore. So only the thing which is allowed is underscore. In the program names you are allowed to put underscores, but don't put any other special symbols. So click on create. Now we are going to create a program. My program name is Naren underscore test, or I'll say more precisely Naren underscore test 01, first program. So here you have to give the title for the program. Title I'll give as my FIRST first ABAP program. This is the title of my program. And there is something called a type here. There are different types of programs available in ABAP. Something like executable programs, include programs, module pool programs, function pool, and so on. You can see all the list here. But now we are concentrating on executable. Going further into our course, we will cover all these types. So now I will click this executable program and save it. Okay, so what are all the things you provided? The program name, then you clicked on create, then this window opens. You provided a title of the program, you have given a type of the program, you save it. A small pop-up comes, it is asking where to save. SAP is asking me, okay, you clicked on save, now tell me where to save. Do you have some package for me? What is the package? Because you are in the very beginning stage, as of now, assume you can compare a package in SAP with the folder in Windows. A folder is a place where you keep some documents, where maybe you can keep some PowerPoint presentations or Excel files or whatever you like. In the same way, a program or table or whatever you create in SAP, you can store in a package. That means in the folder. If the folder is available, save it in a folder. If folder is not available, what do? You will temporarily store in a desktop, or you store somewhere in a C drive temporarily, right? In the same way, if package is not available, if in SAP we will store it in a local object. If package is available, we will give the package name. For example, Z. There are some packages you can see. So any of the package you can select and save it. This is one way. Another one is, if the package is not available, as of now you don't know what is a package. So I'm not giving any package here. I'm temporarily storing this package in a local object. So now whatever the screen you are looking, so this screen is called ABAP editor. So this screen is only for ABAP consultants. Sometimes functional consultants will not bother, like functional consultants will least bother about what is there in this particular screen, because they will not develop any program. So if you want to develop a program, you have to come into this screen. This is called ABAP editor, where you can write your own coding. See, there are some lines which are already available by default. The lines which are started with this star, whatever the lines which is starting with star is called commented line. The commented line, you can write any sort of like, I will say this program developed by Ram. So this is just a comment line. Whatever you write is not executable. So in the stars, any line which is starting with a star, you can write anything. That is not executable statement. This is just for information. Tomorrow, if somebody look into this program, then okay, they can see and understand, oh, this program is done by somebody. And this is a statement here. You can see, if you observe here, line number 9, it has a report statement. It doesn't have any star. So this is the actual program syntax, which indicates this program name is Z Narayan star. So don't disturb this statement. So whenever you are creating a new program, don't disturb this. And after this program, now you can write any sort of coding. Any sort of coding you can write after this line. So before coming to write some program here, if you are aware of a C language, there is something called printf command over there to display the output. Okay, if you don't know the C language also, if you want to display output of your program in ABAP language, always use the keyword write. Use the keyword write. Write is a keyword to display output of your program. So after write, give 2 single quotes. In between single quotes, whatever you write, that will appear in the output. So in between single quotes, I will say something SAP ABAP. So my expected output is SAP ABAP. After that, what I'll do, I'll put a full stop at the end. In ABAP, every statement, every line in ABAP language will end with a dot. This is the syntax, and you need to follow as it is. So here, in between these 2 single quotes, you give anything which you want to print in the output. So now my first program is ready. So one statement I have written in my program. So now I am eager to see the output. Then I will save it. Save my program. check my program, there is a button here, check, which checks whether if you have done some syntactical errors. Say for example, you forget giving this another quote. So when you check this, it will give some error. You see, it is giving some error. Literal that take up more than one line are not permitted or something. So what is the literal? In between single quotes, whatever you give, that I will call it as a literal. So in between single quotes, whatever you will give, that I'll call it as a literal. So the error is saying a literal is not ended. It doesn't have a ending quotation. That's what the error is. So now save it, check it, and activate your program. When you activate, the program will be fully compiled and returned to the database. Activate your program. So once you activate, a small window comes, you need to press enter. Then you can see the status, your program is active. Now if you want to see the output of this program, click on this execute, direct processing. You can see the output, SAP ABAP. What is this? My first ABAP program, from where it is coming up. We have not given anything like this, my first program, or do we have given somewhere? Do we have given? No? If you remember the attributes, we have given this. My first program, while creating the program, we have given the title, right? My first ABAP program. Yeah. So that is what coming up there. So when I activate and execute this program, so my first program is coming. So in your program output, what are all the things are coming up? Program title, and here you can see the page number. Page number is 1, and here in the below you have some underline, and then SAP ABAP. So all these things are coming by default. Okay. So if you don't want these default things, if you don't want those default things, you can say no standard page heading. This is a keyword. No standard page heading is a keyword. Something like right is a keyword, right? In the same way, no standard page heading is also a keyword, which will be used along with the report syntax. So now once again I will save it. Remember, whenever you do any small change in the program, always save your program, check if you have done any errors, activate, and try to see the output. After activate, click on execute. So now see, my first program, underline, page number, all these things are not coming. Directly you are getting the output, SAP ABAP. So whatever you give in between single quotes, so SAP ABAP, tomorrow I'll give a little bigger thing, online training. Sorry. Here when I execute, so whatever you give in between a single quotes, that is coming in output. So this basically I'll call it as a literal. So if you understand this right keyword, we are going to see the next keyword. The next keyword which I am going to introduce you is parameters. So what is this parameters keyword? Generally any programming languages will have a declaration keywords for declaring variables. Now come again, what is a variable? Any idea what generally we will call it as a variable? The name itself says something is varying in that.
It is used to store the data, right?
Yes, it is used to store the data, exactly. So I define variable is nothing but a name of the memory location. A memory location is there somewhere. So for that memory location, I'll give some name. So in that memory location, today some value will be there, tomorrow some other value will be there. The content of that memory location changes. So that's why I'll call it as a variable. So if you want to declare a variable in ABAP language, you have two keywords. One is a parameter, another one is data. So data is a keyword to declare a variable. A parameter is also a keyword to declare a variable, but there is a small differences there. So first we'll discuss about parameters and then we'll come to the data. So how to declare a variable? Parameters, some A, B, C, any name. This is a name given to the memory location, right? So I will call it as a variable name. So variable name is ABC. So my memory location name is nothing but ABC. This memory location can store 10. If I give C here, type C, then this memory location ABC can store 10 characters. If I give type I, then it can store integers instead of characters. That memory location can store integers. If I give N, it may store a numeric values and so on. So whatever I'm giving here, type C, type I or type N, these are called data types. Different types of data. Data types means different types of data, maybe character, maybe numeric, maybe integer or whatever. So we'll discuss this data types in the next topic. But as of now, we are concentrating on the creation of the variable. So here what I say, ABC is a memory location. It can store 10 characters. So now I will save it, check it, activate it. Try to execute my program. Now if you see, ABC is coming up with some box where you can enter 10 characters. So now if you see, this is not your output screen. This is something like, this is your program source code, right? So this is your program source code. Now this is the input screen where you provide some value in the variable. So that memory location box it is. So in this memory location you put some content. So that inside ABC you are putting SAP ABAP. And then finally when you execute, what will happen? Whatever you write in a write syntax, that will execute. So first parameters are executing, then write syntax is executing. So here I will say, instead of SAP ABAP Online Training, I will say write ABC. Let us see what will happen now. So now I will say check activate, execute. So I will give here SAP ABAP. Now execute. What is my output? SAP ABAP. So whatever is available inside ABC, that is written. So if you see write ABC, so whatever is there inside ABC. Tomorrow if I give something else in ABC, SAP MM, so that is getting written. If you observe one thing here, I have not given ABC in single quotes. If I give ABC in single quotes, then I will call ABC as a literal. It is not a variable. So if I give it as a literal, as it is, it will be printed in the output. So for example, now I have given the ABC in between single quotes. I save, check, activate my program. I'll execute. And whatever I provide here, I'll execute. See what it is printing? It is printing ABC as it is. So that is what the difference between a variable and a literal. If you give a literal, as it is, whatever you have given, that will be printed. If you provide a variable, the content inside the variable will be printed. Clear? Any questions here? So you got the difference between a variable and a literal, right? Now the next step. For example, now I want to write a program to add two numbers. I want to write a program to add two numbers. What I'll do? Instead of ABC, I will say my variable name is num1. This is of type integer. I means integer. Num2. There is one more variable num2 type I. So whenever you have two variables, something like this, num1, num2, two or more than two, you have to separate these two things with a comma. You can see there is a comma here, right? And you have to put a column after the keyword parameters. So in the beginning you have to put a column, and then in between the variables you have to give a separator comma. So if you forget any one of this, when you are checking, you will get error. So now I have two variables, num1 and num2. How it looks like? Save, check, activate your program. Execute. Now in the num1 I will give 10 and num2 I will give 20. I want to see the addition of these two numbers, 10 plus 20, and in the output I want to see 30. When I click on execute, I want to see 30. How to do this? I want to add these two numbers, and after adding, where shall I put? I need another variable to put these two sum. I need another variable, but that variable, I don't want that variable to appear in the selection screen. So there are three screens now, right? So this is a ABAP editor, this is a input screen or selection screen, and then after execution whatever the screen comes, that is the output screen. So there are three screens we are handling now. So I want another variable to keep the sum of these two numbers, but that variable I don't want to show it here. How to declare? Now in that case you declare the variable with data keyword. So you say data num3 type I. Here also data keyword, also parameter keyword also. When you have a single variable, just declare it. When you have more than two variables, for example tomorrow you got a situation where you want num4 type I, then you should separate it with a comma and put a column. So this is always the convention. So it may be parameter, it may be data declaration or whatever. If you are declaring more than two objects, then these two should be separated with a comma and a column should be available. Okay. But if you are having only single, something like num3 type I, in that case this column is not mandatory. If you give column also not a problem. If you will not give this column also not a problem. So now I'll save it. So I have a num3 data. So because I have given num3 in the data statement, this will not, num3 will not appear in my input screen. So whatever I declare in a parameters, num1 and num2 will only appear. Num3 will not appear. Why? Because I have declared with data keyword. But there is a variable num3. So now what I will do? Num3 is equal to num1 plus num2. So whatever there in num1, I am adding with num2 and putting the result in num3. I have a question here. can I do something like this? Num1 plus num2 is equal to num3. Is this correct expression? Which
No.
one is the correct one?
Oh, no. It's not correct, Ram.
Okay. Any idea, like, or any reason why line number 17 is not correct and why line number 15 is correct statement?
Because sum of number 1 and number 2 you are putting into number 3. That's
Correct.
correct, right?
Correct.
So that's what our requirement. But we are not putting in number 3 in number 1 plus number 2,
Yes,
right?
exactly. But the thing is, okay. So what you said is correct. But any programming language, generally, what it will do, it will try starting calculation from right hand side and give the result always to the left hand side. Okay, so your calculation always starts on the right hand side. So it will do the right hand side things calculated. After that, it will put into the left side. So the line number 17 what I have written is not correct. So then I'll say write num3. Save it, check it, activate it. Execute it. So now I'll give here some 20, here I'll give some 30. Now I'll execute. I'm getting 50. So now what you will ask is, I don't want the 50, I want the output something like that. The sum is 50, something like that. How to do? So I'll put a literal here. The sum is in single quotes. I have given a literal. So this is my literal and this is my variable. So these are two different objects. So I should separate these two with a comma and I should put a column after right. So now I'll save it, check it, activate it. And execute. So now I'll put 20 here, 40 here, then I'll execute. You can see the sum is 60. Say for example, you want something like, I'll give one more write statement here, write num1, comma, in single quotes I'll give the plus symbol, comma, num2, comma, in single quotes I'll give is equal to num, comma I should put, and then I'll give num3. So see what I'm doing, num1, so whatever is there available in this variable, num1 will be printed. After that a plus symbol will be printed. After that whatever the value is there in num2 that will be printed, is equal to will be printed, and then that sum of this will be printed. Let us see how it looks like. So first it is printing the sum is 60. Then it is saying 20 plus 40 is equal to 60. Now the thing is, if you observe here, I have given two different write statements in two different lines. But even then, what happening? My output is coming in a single line. My output is not coming one below the other. The sum is 60 and then it is continuing 20 plus 40 equal to 60. Right? You might have observed. So everything is coming in a single line. I don't want everything in a single line. For example, I want up to this, I want in a first line. After this thing I want in the second line. That means below I want to have this. How to do? In ABAP, there is something called a new line character. Whenever you want to have a new line, always put a slash. The slash always indicates a new line. So it will give a new line. In the new line, whatever you have given here, that will be printed. So now, in the first line, the sum is 60 is getting printed. In the second line, 20 plus 40 equal to 60 is getting printed. So this is what called new line. So whenever you want to go for a new line, you can use this. Okay, so today what we will do is slowly we will move towards some more formatting options. But tomorrow when you are coming to the class, your task is to do the program for subtraction, multiplication, division. So I hope you can do all these things now. Are any questions in this program? You can ask me now. If you are feeling any uncomfortable or if you are not understanding something, you ask me now itself. But your task after this class is to practice the subtraction, division, multiplication and so on. I hope you can do this, right?
Ram, can we declare variable also here? Length of the variable?
Where exactly?
Same as a character we can declare, right? For integer also.
Okay. So here, to say here you want to declare a length in brackets, something like character.
Right. Yes, yes.
Okay, yes. That will come. We will see when we are discussing about data types. So, because some data types you need to declare a length over here, some data types you should not declare. So that is what our next topic is going to be. So I'll discuss in that, for which we need to declare a bracket and length, for which we should not. For type I, you should not specify any length. If you specify some length for type I, it will give some error. Say for example, if I provided some here like this. See what it is saying? Length specification has no effect in combination with type I. So we are going to discuss this in detail. Any other questions?
So data is for output variable, right? Parameters is for input variables, right?
Correct. Parameter, whatever you have given, those are variables which will appear in the screen level. That means in this input screen or in the selection screen. I'll call it as input screen or selection screen. Data will not appear here, but there is a variable. So this is a variable, but that will not appear in the selection screen level. You can use for internal calculations in the program.
Okay.
So any other questions, Sudha, you are getting, or you are completely lost?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, fine. So we'll go to the next program. In this program, we are going to learn about different data types. So as Narendra is asking, so in this program, we are going to learn different data types which are available in ABAP. Generally, when you declare a variable, you use the syntax data, variable name may be VAR or ABC, whatever. In brackets, you specify the length and then you say whether it is a type character or integer or numeric or what. So, how many types of data types are there like this? what I will do is I'll try to prepare a small Excel to note down different types of data types. So here I'll say data type and data type name. C means character, right? So what is the name of that particular data type? And then how to declare that? I want to know the syntax for that. And I also want to know the default value of that. Also want to know the length specification required or not. So I'm preparing a small Excel. So default value, what will come, length specification is required or not. First data type is C. C stands for character. The syntax, how to declare a variable with a character, something like this. So the syntax is going to be like this, as it is copy pasted. What is the default value of this? For example, if I don't give anything, I will say write var, then what you will get in the output? I save, check, activate and execute. You are getting a space, nothing here, nothing over here. So the default value is space for character. Just wondering, what are all the various values a character can hold? This memory location character means what? It may be number, it may be alphabet, it may take also all special symbols. So what is a character? Type C means any character which is there in your keyboard. It may be a number or alphabet or any special symbols like dollar, at the rate or whatever. So that is called character. So length specification is required. In brackets, do you have to give the length? Yes, you have to give the length of character. If you don't give length, what will happen? For example, if I don't give length here, what will happen? This particular memory location can hold only one character. So system will assume you are storing only one character. Okay, so that means, say for example, in the line number here, I will say var equal to SAP ABAP. Then what I'm doing, I'm trying to put SAP ABAP into this var, and after that I'm writing var. Okay, so my expected output is SAP ABAP, but since this memory location, this var can store only one character, it only stores yes. So my output will be only yes. So save it, check it, activate it. Execute it. Now you can see only yes. Yes, why? Because if I don't give any length in the brackets, system will assume I'm storing only one character. If I give the length, okay, system knows you are storing 10 characters. Then save, check, activate. It will get all the length. So now SAP ABAP is coming up. So total 8 characters. Still 2 character space is there. So your variable var can hold 10 characters, but we are putting only 8 characters into that. So extra 2 characters, there is a space. You can still put another 2 characters into that. Okay, so in the same way, so now what my intention is, so here you might have understand what I'm saying. A default value, if you don't give anything, you will get a space. Length specification is required. If you don't specify a length, then system will assume the default length as 1. Now coming to the next data type, I. I stands for integer. I stands for integer. Can you give any examples for integers? Integer means number, right? So number 10, 40, 70, all these are integers. So for integers, if you give a length, system will give a warning to you. It says length specification has no effect. So no need to give any length specification to the integer. System will automatically allocate a length to this integers. So the syntax is something like this. I stands for the name of I is integer. The syntax is something like this. Data some var type I. We'll see what is the default value going to be, and length specification required? No. Length specification is not required for this. What will be the default value going to be? When I execute, any default value will I get, or I'll get a space? Because it's an integer cannot store space, right? Integer means a number always. So the default number is 0. Okay, so the default value for an integer is 0. Guys, anywhere if you have any question, please stop me and ask me. Feel free to ask me any question, because without understanding if we are going, there is no use. So anywhere if you are having any question, ask me. So the default value is 0 for integer. So then the next data type is n. N stands for numeric. So then I'll say something like this. Type n. N means a numeric. Numeric means a number. Integer means also a number. Then what is the difference between integer and numeric? Because both looks like a number to me. So what is exactly the difference? See, the thing is, when you have a number strings, something like your phone number, something like a postal code, these are all called a number strings. These are all numbers only, but it doesn't have any separators. It doesn't have any measurables. Say, for example, I'm measuring my salary in dollars. I'm measuring a length in centimeters. So there are something which will be measured with the units. There are something which are non-measurable, something like phone number, something like postal code. You cannot measure it. So whichever non-measurable, you declare it with n. So whichever is non-measurable but still it's a number, you declare it with a number. So we'll call it as a number strings. Whichever is measurable, something like a salary in rupees, something like weight in kgs. So whichever is measurable, always put it in form of I, integers, because integers will always have a separators. So by default the separator will come. For example, if you declare something like I here, and I will say var equal to 20,000, for example. See, now the separator will come automatically. So in the output you can see 20.000 is coming. Here actually comma should come as per our notation, but some countries are there which will use 1000 separator as a dot. So in my user settings, I'm using 1000 separator as a dot and decimal separator as a comma. So that is the reason why here dot is coming. But nevertheless, whenever you are using type I, your separators will come automatically. But when you are using type N, the separators will not come. And one more important point is, when you are using type N, you should always give a length in brackets. If you don't give a length in brackets, system will assume length is 1. Something like character you have seen, right? Only 1, it is assuming only the length is 1. In the same way, system will assume the length for this type N is 1. If you don't give anything here, only 2 will go and store it here, and 2 will be displayed in the output. Zero. Okay, fine. So the thing is, here we should put it in a single quotes, because the thing is, here we are not specifying the length. I'll put here length as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have not given it single quotes. Yeah. So now you can see, if I give a length specification, then only the numerics are taking the things up. Otherwise, it's not taking up. So here, what we need to do, the syntax is something like this. The default value, what is the default value? We will see what is the default value. We have not yet seen. But length specification required. Yes, length specification is required, then only it will work. If I don't give any value in that, what is the default value? Save check activate. Now we have declared the length of this numeric variable is 5. The length is 5. So now see what is the output? 5 zeros. If you give 3, you will get 3 zeros in the output. So the default value will be depending on the length declaration. Those many zeros you will get. So I want to put here 5 zeros. So I'll make the Excel cell as a text format. Okay, so I'm putting here the 5 zeros. In case if you declare a variable of length 5, type N, you will get 5 zeros in your output default value. Then there is something called F. F stands for floating. So whatever we are declaring, integers or numerics, these things are not giving any decimal values, right? So till now whatever we have seen, integers or numerics, so these are not dealing with the decimal values. So if you want to specify some decimal values in your calculations, make use of floating. So for floating, don't give any length specification. Save it, check it, activate, and execute. So floating, if you give type F, will give the highest precision possible, highest decimal point up to like 10.1256, whatever, like up to highest precision possible, it will give the output. Something like exponential value. Exponentials means 10 to the power of something. So in the same way, like you can see the output here, 0.0000 exponential of something, 10 to the power of something. Okay, so this exponential indicates that highest precision which is possible. No need to count how many zeros are coming up, because this decimal will come up to the highest precision. So the default value looks something like this. F stands for what? F means floating. How to declare the syntax? The syntax is something like this. Length specification is required. not required. Don't give any length specification. If you give, it will give error. If I give some length specification in brackets, what it is saying, if you want to give a length specification, give 8, otherwise don't give it. If I give 8 also, then see what it is saying, length specification has no effect in the combination with type F. So it's a warning, it's not an error. Whatever the message you see in a yellow color, it's always a warning. Okay, so this is also a warning. Now don't give any length specification for F. System will automatically take care of it. So floating we have done. So floating will give the highest precision of the decimal. Then we have something called P. P stands for packed decimal. Packed decimal. What is this packed decimal? So here in the floating, we are giving the decimals up to the highest precision. Sometimes we will get a requirement. No, I want only 2 decimal places. I want only 4 decimals. I want only 3 decimals. In that case, you can make use of packed decimals. How to declare this kind of variables? You can declare something like this. Data variable type P. Decimals 3, for example. So now when I say check activate, 3 decimal places will come. So now when I execute, you can see 3 decimal places are coming up. In case if I give here 2 decimal, it will control up to 2 decimal places. Only 2 decimal places are coming up. So now here the syntax is going to be like this. Default value, how it looks, default value looks like this. Because decimals 2 we have given, it is giving 0.00 or something. The length specification is required. I'll say length specification is required for decimal places, not for the actual integer. So here for this variable in brackets you are not giving any length. Here you are not giving any length. You are giving the length specification for decimal places. So that's what I'm writing here. So length specification is required only for decimal places. So the next data type what we have is called date. D stands for date. If you want to declare a date tomorrow in your program, how to declare? Variable type D. So no need to specify any length for this. Just give like this. The syntax is something like this. Default value. What could be the default value for a date? If I don't give any date in that variable, the default value will be 8 zeros. First 2 are for date, second 2 are for month, and then 4 for year. So the default value will be having always 8 zeros if you don't specify any date. Length specification is not required. Similarly, we have another data type called T. T stands for time. So now you already could have got some idea. So it is something like variable type T. T stands for time. How many zeros you will get? 2 zeros for hours, 2 zeros for minutes, 2 zeros for seconds. This will be your default value. Length specification is not required. Then there is something called X string. X string. This is another data type. So the name of this data type is also called X string. I'll call it a type X. Let us see what is this type X. This type X kind of variables give you the hexadecimal values. In your school times, we could have learned about this hexadecimal values of base 16, wherein we'll count like if 10 means A, 11 means B, 12 means C, and so on. In the same way, now here some variable of type X. Here I will give length 1 or length 2 I will give for more easy understanding. Then I will say variable equal to 10. I am putting value 10 into that variable. Let us see what is the output of that. This 0 0, forget about this 0 0, and we are getting the output as 0A. That means actually whatever is this here 10, that is getting converted into hexadecimal. For example, here I will give a variable of length 1. Then what output we are getting? 0A. This is our output. So here if I give a length 1, I am getting two digit output. Here if I give a length 2, I am getting 4 digit output. So that means for each digit of decimal value, I am getting 2 digits of hexadecimal values in the output. So the length, like the syntax for X string is something like this. If I don't give anything over here, if I don't specify any default value, if I don't specify any value, the default value will be 0 0. Take it. Length specification is required. No, so otherwise I'll say yes here. Length specification is required. So if you put here 1, you will get corresponding 2 places in the output. For each decimal, you will get 2 hexadecimal outputs. Then there is something called string. So here string stands for string. String will allocate the length dynamically. What is the dynamic length allocation? For example, I'll say data variable of length 5 type character. Here I will say in the variable I want to put SAP ABAP. So in the variable I am putting SAP ABAP. But what is the length of the variable? Length of the variable is 5. So what will be the output? SAP space A. Up to this 5 characters will come and sit in this variable. So now I'll say check activate. Execute. So now you can see SAP A, up to that length only it is giving the output. But if you declare it as a string instead of type C, if you declare it as string, the total value whatever you have given here in single quotes will be accommodated in this variable. So now I'll say check activate. Execute. So total string is coming up. SAP ABAP is coming up. So now what is the length of my variable length of my variable is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so here tomorrow I'll give some extra content. Say for example SAP ABAP report. So what will happen, automatically my variable length changes, and every time what I will get the total string in my output. So now see, SAP ABAP report is coming up completely. So what I say is, the string will have a dynamic length specification. Character, you need to specify the length in bracket. For string, no need to specify any length. Dynamically the length will be allocated. So type string, I'll take it up. Default value is space, just like character. If you don't give anything here and try to print it, try to write the output, then the default value is space. And length specification, is it required? No, length specification is not required. Fine. So these are all the various data types which are available in your ABAP language. So any one of the variables we will be using while doing the programming. So with this we covered all the data types. So we will meet in the next session. Bye.